What's good, YouTube? Sensational Sinceres here, and I'm back with another Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video. We're here for July 2nd, 2021's Vendor Reset. So let's get right into this and see what we got good for this week. For our first gear items, head over to Camp Hudson. Here the weapons vendor has a loud vent break. For our next gear items, we're still at Camp Hudson. Head over to the gear vendor, and here we got a gunslinger vest with the Talent Vigorous. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 7% Seeker Mine explosion radius. For our next gear items, head over to the base of operations. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a first wave Vector 45 ACP. Next here we got a prototype performance mod with 2% post critical hit damage. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the weapons vendor, and here we got an SASG 12. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the gear vendor, and here we got an operator mask with the Talent Refreshed. Next here we got a prototype firearms mod with 210 firearms and 3% damage to elites. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the advanced weaponry vendor, and here we got an MP7. Next here we got a lightweight M4. Next here we got a tactical M249 Para. Also here we got a high velocity magazine. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the special equipment vendor, and here we got a Cassidy. Next here we got a historian. Also here we got an MP7. Next here we got a custom M870 MCS. Also here we got a paratrooper SVD. Also here we got a Spec Ops mask with the Talent Tenacious. Next here we got a tactical vest with the Talent Reckless. Next here we got a tactical pack with the Talent Relentless. Also here we got some operator gloves with the Talent Savage. Next here we got a prototype performance mod with 3.50% sticky bomb damage. Also here we got a heavy magazine spring. Next here we got a loud vent break. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the special blueprints vendor, and here we got a surplus SVD blueprint with a gear score of 256. We also got a classic RPK 74 blueprint with a gear score of 256. We also got a holster blueprint with a gear score of 256. And also here we got a high velocity magazine blueprint with a power level 34. For our next gear items, head over to Camp Clinton. Here the special equipment vendor has a Liberator. Next here we got an enhanced AUG A3P. Next here we got a double barrel shotgun. Also here we got a first wave M1A. Next here we got an operator mask with the Talent Enduring. Also here we got a tactical pack with the Talent Inventive. Next here we got a prototype performance mod with 3.50% mobile cover damage resilience. For our next gear items, we're still at Camp Clinton. Head over to the special blueprints vendor, and here we got a holster blueprint with a gear score of 256. Next here we got an EXP S3 holographic sight tan blueprint with a power level 34. And also we got a flash hider blueprint with a power level 34. For our next gear items, head over to Autumn's Hope. Here the gear vendor has a prototype firearms mod with 264 firearms and 3% skill haste. For our next gear items, head over to Madison Stan. Here the gear vendor has a prototype firearms mod with 261 firearms and 2.50% exotic damage resilience. For our next gear items, head over to The Last Call. Here the weapons vendor has a black market T821 if you like this weapon. And also here we got a rugged mini reflex sight. For our next gear items, head over to The Ward. Here the gear vendor has an operator mask with the Talent Refreshed. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 7.50% Seeker Mine explosion radius. For our next gear items, head over to the Grindhouse. Here the weapons vendor has a small grip. For our next gear items, head over to the Firewall. Here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5% ballistic shield damage resilience. For our next gear items, head over to West 31st Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a black market SASG 12S. For our next gear items, head over to West 34th Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the Talent Refreshed. Next here we got a prototype performance mod with 2.50% smart cover damage resilience. For our next gear items, head over to West 39th Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a custom M870 MCS. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 4% Seeker Mine damage. For our next gear items, head over to West 46th Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a large suppressor FDE. For our next gear items, head over to West 53rd Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a surplus SVD. And also here we got a pro red dot sight. For our next gear items, head over to East 64th Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone gear mod vendor has a prototype electronics mod with 264 electronics and 1% critical hit chance. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 3.50% ballistic shield damage. For our next gear items, head over to East 61st Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has a heavy magazine spring. And also here we got a 5.52 hollow sight 10. For our next gear items, head over to the Park Ave checkpoint. Here the Darzone weapons vendor has a tactical M249 Para. For our next gear items, head over to East 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Darzone vendor has a military M870. Next here we got an operator mask with the talent rehabilitated. For our next gear items, head over to East 42nd Street checkpoint. Here the Darzone vendor has a gunslinger vest with the talent rapid. Also here we got a prototype firearms mod with 264 firearms and 2% all resistance. And also here we got a vertical grip Wolf Gray. For our next gear items, head over to East 40th Street checkpoint. Here the Darzone vendor has a classic AK-47. For our next gear items, head over to East 34th Street checkpoint. Here the Darzone vendor has a tactical pack with the talent Relentless. For our next gear items, head over to East 31st Street checkpoint. Here the Darzone vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent Rehabilitated. And also here we got a prototype stamina mod with 258 stamina and 2.50% exotic damage resilience. For our next gear items, head over to the 5th Ave checkpoint. Here the Darzone vendor has a Spec Ops armor with the talent Vigorous. Next here we got a prototype stamina mod with 260 stamina and 1% critical hit chance. And also here we got a compensator. For our next gear items, head over to DZ2 Safe Room. Here the Darzone gear vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Rehabilitated. Next here we got a Spec Ops armor with the talent Reckless. Also here we got an operator pack with the talent Relentless. For our next gear items, head over to DZ3 Safe Room. Here the Darzone weapons vendor has an MP7. Next here we got an ACR. For our next gear items, head over to DZ8 Safe Room. Here the Darzone gear mod vendor has an operator mask with the talent Tenacious. And also here we got a Spec Ops pack with the talent Relentless. For our next gear items, head over to DZ9 Safe Room. Here the Darzone weapon mod vendor has a heavy magazine spring. Alright everybody, that's it for our Tom Clancy's The Division vendor reset video for July 2nd, 2021's vendor reset. Hope everybody tuned into it, found something that they needed. Smash on that sub and like button, y'all appreciate that support, and I'll see y'all with the next one. Everybody take care, peace.